Thank you to Young America's Foundation and Hobart and William Smith College's Young Americans for Freedom for hosting me last night. I gave a speech there, and it was quite an experience. I mean, first of all, I love talking to college students. I think it's really interesting. You really hear things you don't hear too often. But I have to tell you, there was some shameful stuff. I mean, not at my event was really great. The people were great. Lots of left-wing students came up and talked to me. They were civil, they were polite, they were intense and passionate. And we disagreed, but we disagreed in a civil way. And that was fabulous. At previous events, I was told that there was real name-calling, shouting, not actual violence, although a table was turned over. And what is really just shameful about it is that the administration is giving these people no protection and giving the conservatives no protection and basically allowing troublemakers to do what they want. Now, as I say, my event was absolutely great. And it's not the students. My problem was not with the students. It was the faculty. To counteract conservatives having speakers, what they did was a faculty member held his own conference talking about the wonders and beauties of communism and how the Soviet Union just kind of didn't do it right, but communism really works great. And I think that if you are teaching communism to young people, I think you are a bad person. I think this is something, they talk about the science is settled. The science is settled. This is something that doesn't work. And somebody asked me about this after the Q&A period. Someone asked me about places like Norway, places that like Bernie Sanders is always talking about. Somewhere in Scandinavia over there, communism, socialism works great. And what is, I said to her, I gave her all the usual answers, that these are small homogenous societies. They actually are not socialist societies. They actually have open to free market, even though they have a lot of high taxes and a lot of welfare spending. They're still not actual socialist societies. But then, they have this thing in France. It's called something like the esprit d'escalier. It means the spirit of the wit of the staircase, when you think of something to say after you leave. And after I left, I thought, let me ask you this about Scandinavia. Do they use cell phones? Because then they're living off capitalism. Do they use cars, light bulbs, electricity? All the things that were invented under capitalism, are they using those things? Because in Norway, they invented the paperclip, and that's about it. So they say, well, these people are incredibly happy. Yeah, they're happy because they're living off us, essentially. Plus, they're living off our protection, our military protection that they don't have. I know they don't like to hear that, but that is true. I mean, they are being paid for by the engines of capitalism, by us, insofar as we remain a capitalist country. And I just think it's just phony to teach these kids this stuff. And the other thing that really bugged me, and again, the kids themselves were lovely, and I'm not knocking them, but they have been trained to look at everything through the lens of race, and they do not understand, and it's hard to, I said to them, they were shocked. I mean, you could see in their faces, I said to them, not one of you is going to ever be stopped from doing anything you want to do because of race. I said, your generation is going to colonize the moon. The last thing you should be thinking about is race, but they think about everything in terms of race, and it is just a way of controlling them, keeping them on the farm, and so is shutting down conservative speakers. And anybody who shuts down speakers is just trying to control you. I don't care. I don't even care if it's a hateful speaker. You can always defy a hateful speaker with better ideas. The worst thing that can happen is you laugh at them or argue with them or walk away. But when they're shutting people down, it's because they only want you to hear their opinions.